the greatest moment in my life. That is a rather large forehead there.
Thank you. See, again, my thing's laggy. I don't know what's going on. I didn't know we were live then. The music was still playing in my ears.
When you pay for dial-up internet, what do you expect?
Yeah, I suppose. Hey, yo. Hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Oh, Magsy, how are you, my friend?
Okay. I'm doing very well. Yourself?
Yeah, all right, mate. All right, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. I'm looking forward to this.
It's a weird start to the show.
Well, I got completely thrown. I didn't realize we were live, and that's why I was sort of like, giving an extreme close-up of my fucking five-head.
So, anytime that you're flummoxed, you zoom right into the person you're talking to and then ask them if they're all right.
No, I look the little screens at the bottom below us. The one that's hidden, not Sharon, the other one that's hidden for like when we do a non-wrestling.
You were trying to see what it were. Keep your nose out. That's not for now.
I was trying to see what it was because it looked.
You'll find out very soon.
From back here, it looked a bit like a sausage roll, and I was like, "What's he doing with that?"
It could be a sausage roll. It could not be, but you'll find out about that very soon.
Okay. I think this is going to be a bloody good episode, Magsy, because our Mags v Psy, I think, is going to be quite funny or potentially incredibly hurtful when we realise we don't know each other
very well
at all.
be the end of this partnership as we know it.
Yes, indeed. We have Quizmaster Sharon back as well. One of us will turn heel. I think you already are a heel, surely.
I mean, that is true. I'm a tweener, I think.
A tweener, is that right? Okay. Yes, we have Quizmaster Sharon back this week for the first Mags v Psy in a long, long time, don't we?
Yeah, it has. It feels like forever.
Yeah, it does. It does. Looking forward to it, mate. Looking forward to it. And you want a poll, and the match is shit. So throw that out there now.
I regretted it bitterly. That's what I get, though, for trying to appeal to the electorate. And then we get a message in the chat that said electorate isn't even turning up today.
Oh,
so that's awesome.
Dan Griffin in the chat. Can't watch live tonight. What else did he say there? Hang on 1 second. Can't watch live tonight. I've lost it now, Magsy. There it is. But please assume I made a dirty joke at every opportunity and winged it and whinged at Sharon sending me Cody gifts. Yeah.
Very true. It's like he's here
indeed.
Anyway.
And I think our non-wrestling topic is going to be quite intriguing as well, because there's a couple of people's posts that I'm not sure quite qualify for terrible or worst inventions.
Well, I'm sure we'll get to that. I have one. I have currently one, and it's probably the worst invention in the world. I hate it with a passion.
Okay. See, I don't really think I've got any.
Brilliant. You're such a professional.
I'll think of something, mate. I'll think of something. Because, at the end of the day, we've got plenty of time before we get there, but we should start the show before we even get anywhere near our non-wrestling topic. So, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live with Mags and Psy, an SJP World Media production. Episode 135 in total, if my counting is going correctly. So, quite a few episodes there, Mags. We spent a lot of time together, haven't we?
Too much. It's almost like we should know everything about each other.
Well, we will find out.
We'll put that to the test.
I am Psy, and with me, as always, is the Bret Hart to my big fart. Magsy, I've got some horrific wind. I'll tell you that now, honestly, and to the point where I think I'm going to have to mute my microphone a few times during the show.
On the audio, if you hear him ripping, that's definitely problems with Audacity and not his guts.
Exactly. I'll cut it all out of the audio. He is the Wolf Pack to my Lurpak, a podcaster who has to stop encouraging pig's bladders with these bloody banners because I'm not doing cheese rolling tours, as it says at the bottom of our screen. The Podfather himself, Lord Mags. How are we, sir?
What do you mean you're not doing cheese rolling tours? Is this 2 weeks in a row that you are telling lies?
I have nothing to do with any of this. You upload it, Pig's Bladders makes it. So okay. I have nothing.
I mean, that's fair, but I will have to invoke Man and Pig's Bladder's emergency graphic then, because he made a secret special graphic in case you did refuse to give fascinating cheese rolling tours.
Okay. So what's
here we go.
Penis enlargement services. It did wonders for me. It could do the same for you. Trust me, that didn't work for me.
In the chat.
Oh dear me. Sharon saying lies in the chat. Yeah, any comment that comes up SJP World Media at the moment is Sharon herself sat in what do you, the green room, I suppose, the waiting room, the whatever.
The green room, yeah. I mean, she was literally just boogieing away to what I assume was some music not 2 minutes ago, thinking that we couldn't see her dancing. Yes, she was. She's denying it, but she was.
Magsy, let's scan through the chat quickly then, and then we'll get Sharon on so she can depart and get on with the rest of her evening.
Let's do it. So King Pig's Bladders, Photoshop Wizard said, "Evening, gents. I'm going to keep it simple and share some inspiring words that have got me through many a dark patch. Hopefully it will help some of you as well. Everybody poops." I mean, brilliant. Concise and factual. Sharon says it's Monday night. You know what that means. And then King Pig's Bladders and Danny. King Pig Bladders again, Scottish Dan again, and Connor, all wishing everybody in the CWF a great evening. Apparently, you are such a letdown. Well, that's why the penis enlargement services are needed. Because if you are a letdown, contact Sa at SJP Words, and he'll hook you up.
For goodness sake! And
Sharon,
now in the chat, my youngest daughter has just chipped in. My youngest daughter is now here in the chat, and I've got that underneath me. Fantastic.
Well, you read what you saw. You shouldn't have welched on the cheese rolling tours.
What is there to tour? It's a fucking hill. Look, here's the bottom.
With
here's
cheese.
The top. We're done.
And here's some cheese. Yeah, so it's quick money. You'll be able to churn out 50 tours an hour.
50 tours an hour.
Yeah.
Charlie in the chat there. I apologize for what is written on our screen today. It's Pig's Bladders and Magsy being a pair of idiots.
It's definitely Pig's Bladders. And then last, Sharon, who is replying in both Twitch and YouTube, says that she was dancing with the voices in her head. With those voices, she gets more sense than she does out of sight.
There we go. There we go. Well, yeah, that goes without saying, doesn't it? Let's be honest. That goes without saying. Magsy, shall we get on with Mags v Sai before we dive into anything else today?
We shall. Let me just get the video up because I put it back to the cheese rolling one, just in case you change your mind. We have got way too many graphics on this. Mags v Sai, there we go.
Mags Soy. Mags Soy.
Mags v Sai.
I've missed that cow.
Thanks, Mags.
I've missed you too.
Shireen, how are you, my love?
I'm well, thank you, husband. How are you both?
I'm glorious.
All the better for seeing you. You brighten this show up.
My cow face.
Quite literally, because you've had a change to your hair color again. No longer is it purple and blue and all that sort of stuff. We've got red and orange and all sorts going on, haven't we? It's red, isn't it?
It's pink.
Is it?
I would have said pink.
Fuck off, Mags.
That's no way to start a Mags v Sai personal quiz, is it?
Oh, Sharon.
Right, so I gets everything wrong, so it's fine.
Yeah. I'm going to get everything wrong here. And I'm going to throw this out here now, okay? Mags v Sai this week is about Mags and Sai. So Mags is going to ask, via Sharon, 5 questions about himself. And I'm going to ask 5 questions about myself. And we're going to, hi, Len, just calling through that window. And we're going to, and we're basically going to see who wins Mags v Sai about Mags and Sai. The only real
essentially
criteria,
like a Mr. and Mrs., but 2 misters, and we are not married. Brilliant.
A Mr. and Mr.
Yeah.
That's a band, isn't it, Mr. Mister?
Well, I think it was. I don't know if it's still a band.
I'll have to look that up. But anyway, yes, the only sort of rough criteria we had was that it has to have been mentioned on the show at some point to kind of make it, memorable to the CWF and ourselves.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's the formula we're going with, and I apologize in advance, Mags, if I get all of them wrong. I do listen when you're talking, and I do bloody love you.
I don't apologize whatsoever. I adore you, but I cannot remember things at all.
Okie doke. Shall we just crack on then, Sha? Do you want to just dive on in?
Crack on with the show. Right. Mr. Max.
Hello.
During our hangovers episode, I listed a bacon sandwich, glass of orange juice, and what other item as my go-to?
I have not got the foggiest. I'm tempted to go with cheese toaster, but you've got a bacon sandwich there, so I don't think you're going to need the cheese toaster.
That'd be a bit of a bread overload, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you're not a big fan of carbs at the best of times.
Mm.
I'm going to go with a packet of cheese and onion crisps.
You are incorrect.
It's like I don't know him at all.
The answer is a Mars bar.
Figures.
To be fair, though, I don't get many hangovers, so.
No, he doesn't. I hate him.
I've never, ever in my life had one.
Oh, prick. Okay. Come on then, Sharon. Let's see what I can get wrong first.
Mr. Sai.
Yes.
Mrs. Maggs recently outed Maggs for one of his weird culinary habits. What is that habit?
Oh, it's the fucking about with the sandwiches, isn't it? It's the taking the sandwiches apart and eating each bit separately like a fucking picky weirdo.
It absolutely is that.
But not with everything, is it? There are certain things that you like tuna mayonnaise or whatever you wouldn't, or egg mayonnaise, or whatever.
Not anything sloppy.
Yeah, because you need a
Oh,
spoon for that,
scraping off and that.
Yeah. Is anyone going to keep score, by the way?
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharon.
We've got a quiz master.
We've got a professional here this week.
Mr. Maggs. Question 2. What band have I seen live the most amount of times?
Oh. I'd never listened to the bands that Sarah mentioned.
Just zones out.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea and the crap, aren't they?
Whoa.
I know he likes Scorpions. I don't know if you've seen. I don't think you've seen them live that many times.
I have seen the Scorpions exactly 0 times.
Okay. I have no clue. I'm going to go with AC/DC.
Oh, see, that's a good shite, but it's wrong.
It is wrong. The answer, which I really wanted to give you a clue, but I thought Si would shout at me, is Wasp.
I mean, I was close with Scorpion then, because they were
insecty kind of stingy kind of fair point.
So that's half a point, sure.
It's half a point for getting a bug.
Connor, very close in the chat, saying Motorhead. Motorhead is the second most.
That was one I was actually going to go for as well.
Yeah, Motorhead I've
and
seen
you've still been wrong
11 times. Wasp I've seen.
So cheers, Connor.
Yeah, close.
Mr. Si.
I'm feeling this now. I'm ahead. I'm feeling this.
Question 2.
Yeah, 2.
Mags's right knee and ankle is held together with dust, blue tack, and a prayer. Name 2 of the 3 major incidents that has injured that knee.
Fuck me, I don't even know if I can name one.
Brilliant.
Didn't you come off your bike?
This question.
I could have named 2 before, and I know I've got the answers in front of me, but I could have named 2.
Didn't you come off your bike?
No.
I'm gonna. Oh man.
I mean, you've got 3 guesses.
I'm gonna completely kick myself when I hear the answers to this, aren't I? Because this is something that I do know. I got 3 guesses, so I've had what? Okay, I'll say car crash.
Brilliant.
No, I don't know. I'm last one. I'm just gonna have to say you fell off something. I don't know.
No.
All for 3 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on then. What we got?
Would you like to explain, Max?
Yep. So I was hit by a car, and the car drove over my leg.
Yeah, that's fucking car crash. The car
That's
crashed
not-
into
It
you.
was not a crash. Then I got the leg trapped under the seat of a swing, and the leg bent 90 degrees the wrong way. And then the last one was I slipped on some moss at a Turkish water park, and basically it squashed my own knee. Yeah.
I don't know why I find that funny, but the specifics.
No,
to
I
that laugh-
don't. I don't know why you find that funny at all. This, folks, is 103 episodes live and done.
It's the specifics to it. I slipped on some moss in a Turkish. Do you know what I mean?
No,
It's like,
it was because they had the walkways were green, and the
Right.
moss was also green. So the walkways were they were kind of like that sandy painted stuff. So there's grip,
okay, yeah.
and then the moss has no grip. So you put your foot on the moss, and your foot goes bye, and your body goes, "I'm taking your knee out."
Ah. See, the moss thing that doesn't ring a bell at all, even though you told me. But
remember
the
that one.
swing, 100%. I remember.
Yeah,
and,
that was
and
grim.
and the car, I 100% remember as well. I think I
But
should get
yet
asked
you
points for
remember
that.
him after you've been told him.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
True.
Well done, Si.
Well,
Mr. Max, question 3.
Let's see if I can pull this back.
What pay-per-view was the first wrestling VHS tape I ever owned and is a huge part of when I was younger?
I mean, you did freeze at that last bit, so you might
Yeah.
want to run that last sentence again.
And is a huge part of me becoming a fan when I was younger.
Okay. So, again, I don't recall you mentioning this at all.
well, there's 2 pay-per-view cassette tapes that I've spoken about. I spoke about it at length on Why We Watch when we first spoke about it, and it's come up loads of times on the show.
That has been ages ago. I
It-
don't
it's come up
remember. I don't
loads
even
on this
remember
show.
that. I remember one thing about that Why We Watch episode when I called you by the wrong second name. That's it.
Fair enough.
It's got to be either a WrestleMania, a Survivor Series, or a Rumble.
Are you going to guess one of them? Because I'd recommend you don't.
So none of them. Will be probably none of them.
I mean, yeah, I'd say none of them, Max.
Oh
Just-
dear. So have we got to go SummerSlam 92?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. I can't judge whether you're glad I said SummerSlam 92 or not glad.
No, that is incorrect. It's SummerSlam 89.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Feel the heat. Tony Schiavone on commentary and all that sort of stuff, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I remember the show. I just don't remember you ever mentioning it to me.
I
ever.
spoke about it loads, mate. I spoke about it loads.
Loads.
Okay, then.
Mr. Sai, question 3.
Yeah.
For a Halloween episode, Mags once dressed up as a plague doctor, but had 2 issues with the mask. Name either of the issues and how Mags solved it.
Okay, the issues were we couldn't fucking breathe was the main one, and he was misting up and all that, weren't you? Yeah.
Was
Yeah, I think so. You were struggling to breathe, and it was you couldn't speak to your microphone properly, if I remember correctly.
Okay. And if that's true, how did they get solved?
Or could you not see?
Or could you not hear?
Do you not think?
Didn't you make some holes in the end? I think you cut some holes, made some holes to breathe easier. But looking at your faces, I'm probably way wrong. Go on, I'll go with that.
You are wrong.
Yeah. You got elements of it right, but in the wrong order and for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
So the first issue was with the goggles. I had to take them out because they kept steaming up.
Yeah, that was steaming up. I remember you saying, yeah.
And then the second one was the nose cone part. Every time I breathed, it would like suck in like a balloon and then blow up. So I had to stuff it with newspaper to stop it.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Oh dear. Okay, so still one.
That was really close though. You did well there.
Cheers, mate.
Mr. Mags, question 4. How did I break my arm as a child?
How the fuck do I know?
Because you openly mocked me for like 20 minutes about how it happened.
I seem to remember did you fall over a little wall?
No.
Good job, that weren't my answer then.
It was more ridiculous and daft than that. Like ridiculously stupid thing I did when I was quite small.
I really cannot remember. My memory is so horrific. I have no clue. No clue.
We're doing well here.
Yeah.
This may hopefully this will jog your memory then, because you did laugh like a great deal at me. I was very, very little, and I'd just seen something on the television, and it was the old Indian rope trick. The guy playing the and the rope goes up, and the Indian will climb it.
Okay.
You know. So if you remember me saying
this is not jogging my memory.
Well, it should do. I went and got.
I don't think we've had this conversation.
We have on the show. We have. I swear. I'm going to find it. In fact, no, I won't find it. Steve-O, when you listen, you'll know exactly what episode that's in. Please let us know. But yeah, basically, I went and got my mum's tape measure and from her sewing kit and my sister's recorder. This is the reaction you had the first time I told it, and climbed onto the dining room table and basically went and jumped onto the tape measure, landed, broke my arm, all my wrist.
What a pillock!
Hang on, you said arm, and now you're changing it to wrist. That changes everything, in my opinion.
Fucking arm, then, Jesus.
So
the
question's invalid, so I should get a point for that.
Bollocks.
But I'm glad I forgot the story because it gave me a chance to laugh at you again. That's a ridiculous story.
I was very, very small. I was probably not as small as I should. I would want to be, but Pig's Bladders in the chat. Is this the first time you two have met?
I think it just proves that once we've finished recording, we try and blank the memory of it ever happening.
Oh man! So have we got one question left each?
We have, yes.
No. Come on, then, so you've still got 2 left.
You've got 2, yeah.
Oh.
Mr. Sai, question 4.
Yes.
How many episodes did Mags miss when he went absolutely Looney Tunes?
Oh, okay. Benny did 2. Dan Griffin did 1. Matt Lewis did 1. And this is the fucking shit bit. I can't remember how many times you filled in, Shah. I think you did 1, didn't you? Am I missing someone there? Oh, Bang Bang Andy, 6. You missed 6.
Is that your final answer?
Oh, I'm wrong, aren't I? Yeah, go on. I'm going to say, go on, yeah, 6.
You are incorrect. The answer is 7.
Oh, no.
Matt Willis also did 2.
Did he? Oh, fucking hell. It was a dark time in my life, Magsy. I don't like to think back to it.
As well as man.
Yeah, well.
This gives more credence to why I can't remember anything. I'm the person who appeared on Morty and Fitch podcast before working out who was Morty and who was Fitch. That's actually true, and I still get them wrong now.
3 times Morty says in the chat you appeared on their show before you twigged which one was which. It's not Ant and Dec.
That's offensive to Ant and Dec to compare the two.
Is it really? Okay. Oh, it's right though. I'm still ahead.
You are clinging on.
Final question for Mr. Max.
Pressure, Max. No pressure.
Everyone is aware of my Windows 98 PC, but what version / season of Championship Manager do I play on it?
Oof. I feel it's 96, 97. I don't think it's the
I
original.
wouldn't feel that way, Mags.
I don't know how is this like in the rules where the quiz master gives me clues. So
Have
I
I
don't.
done something to upset you?
It's definitely not the original.
Yeah, you said my hair was red.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely not the original one.
No.
And then after that, I think it was 92, 93, then 93, 94. But it is in those early ones.
I'll give you a clue then. The game isn't Championship Manager. Officially, it's Championship Manager 2, and then the title of a season. So
Okay.
that would put it a bit later, I suppose, wouldn't it?
What, later than 96, 97?
Yes.
Okay. So we're probably looking in the 2000s then. So 01 or 2, perhaps. Yeah, I'll go with 01 or 2.
That's your final answer, and you are correct.
Finally.
I feel I should have kept my gob shut.
You should have. I should have actually clocked because the earlier ones were on like Atari and Amiga, weren't they?
Amigas, that's it.
They didn't really make the transition to Windows till after the mid 90s. So yeah. Whew.
So it's one each with one question left, right? Yeah?
Mr. Sai, this is your
Can
final
you put this
question.
away?
What match was reviewed upon Mags's heroic and historic return?
I didn't put those words in. I just put on my return. Sharon's added that for effect.
I don't know.
Well, I was going to pick it up and show you the black.
Yes,
He's got the answer around underneath.
I don't know. I don't know why, but I'm leaning towards a Brock Lesnar match.
Which one?
Lesnar Angle Iron Man.
Is that the SmackDown one? If
Yeah.
it weren't at WrestleMania 19.
Was it the WrestleMania 19 one? Was it?
Was it? I don't know.
I'm going to say Lesnar Angle. WrestleMania 19.
You are incorrect.
Oh, it was the Iron Man match.
You fucking prick. Was it really?
No.
No.
Oh. I thought I'd somehow sort of got it there, you know?
It was Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was good, that was.
It was a good match, yeah.
It was a good match, yeah.
And,
each.
And that was a good quiz. We barely know each other.
We do.
Just how we like it.
Oh, Sharon, did you have fun?
Yeah, it was great finding out how much you two just don't listen to one another.
and yet we spend every Monday with each other. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we message through the week as well. And...
Yeah, exactly. And we know next to nothing about each other. Brilliant.
Yeah, there we go. Sharon, do you have anything you want to plug? Give your socials or anything like
that? You can find me most likely not on Twitter because I never go on there. But on Facebook, it's Sharon Korea. Oh, sorry, Max.
On TikTok as well.
And on TikTok, but I've made a private profile because people are bumholes and I can't speak too freely if I'm on my author profile.
That is very true. People are bumholes, especially on TikTok. It's toxic. Don't sign up to TikTok. It's not
But yes,
worth your
you
while.
can find me on TikTok, and my business will be starting up again soon as well. RBF Luxuries on TikTok and on Facebook, and we're on the Morty and Fitch podcast Tuesday, the 26th of September.
That's
Me and
right.
Sage,
So-
I say.
Well, and Charlie. Charlie makes a little cameo as well,
Charlie.
doesn't she? Yeah.
Yep.
So tomorrow, the Morty and Fitch podcast. If you're listening to us live now, the Morty and Fitch podcast comes out tomorrow, Tuesday. Me, Sharon, and Charlie are on there. And if you're listening to the audio version later in the week, it's already out. So go check it
Yep.
out. So
And Morty has said it's his best ever show. He thinks it's his best ever episode. So
well, that's Sharon and Charlie putting the quality up. That.
there we go. Well, I didn't think any different. To be fair,
I talk about dead mouse butts. El ladder. Yeah.
We have an in-depth conversation about meringue, and it's the most interesting meringue you will ever discover.
Interesting indeed. Shireen, thank you so much for that plug and reminding me about how Morty and Fitch were talking to you about gross things. And I will see you very, very soon, my love.
Yep. Thank you very much. Amazing as always.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I enjoyed that, Magsy. Should we scan through the chat quick and see what we got?
We shall. Yeah, that was fun realizing that we don't know each other in the slightest.
We are crap.
So let's get to King's Pigs Banner says you can show the spots where people died on your tours of Gloucester.
Well, they pretty much all at the bottom. It's it's kind of the nature of the beast, really. You're muted, mate.
I said, and it won't sound as funny the second time round, but they died over there, down at the bottom. Then King Pigs Banner said he would say a sandwich is like a sausage roll deconstructed. Yeah, I mean, I don't like I said, I don't do it for sloppy things. It's just if you get like a bacon, egg, and sausage sandwich, and it's a bit too big to fit in your mouth, you just take some elements out. Makes sense. Makes absolute sense. Connor said guest Motorhead, which was close but no cigar. Arsenal for life. I'm going to assume that is also Connor. Or if not, welcome to the show, Arsenal for life.
Hello.
Morty tuned in to tell everybody he was just having a poo and to plug the new episode of Morty and Fitch tomorrow with Sa and his good lady and even gooder daughter Charlie. So definitely go and check that one out. King's Pigs Banner says, "Is this the first time that we have ever met?" You would think so. You would absolutely
across
think
that
so.
way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. Connor says, "Bring back a championship manager," and we need a championship manager 94 playthrough on the channel. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you haven't started doing a playthrough with champ manager.
Maxie, I can barely wire this shit up on a Monday. How am I going to do that?
Install champ manager on this very laptop that you are.
No, I can't because then you can't because it's a different. The reason I've got the Windows 98 PC is because the game won't install on the updated versions of Windows.
Okay,
but you can go to their website and get it for nothing now. But I've got the
there
PC
you go.
now, haven't I? I suppose.
Or just get a webcam aimed at your screen.
Yeah, I could do actually.
Yeah,
I do need a new camera. This one's a bit crap.
There you go. So win-win. Morty says he had 97, 98 on the PC. His mum still has it, I believe. Bloody hoarder. No, she's playing it. She's took Wrexham to the Champions League. Right, you know it. And he says, when I eventually visit the mum, I will try to remember to dig it out. And King Pigs Banner says it's next to the frozen onions. You're likely not wrong.
Did you see that video, Max, from a little while back on Twitter?
Of some frozen onions.
No, Morty was going through his mum's freezer and just asking her, "Why have you got this? Why do you keep this?" And it is just like random frozen stuff in bags. And he's like, "Why?"
Was it like a chest freezer or a stand-up freezer?
Like a chest freezer, yeah. He was like, "Why have you got this tiny bit of onion?" Or whatever. It was very, very funny.
My gran used to be exactly the same. She had one of those chest freezers that was like a coffin.
Yes,
you could literally get in it and lie down, and she'd have things in there from like the mid-80s. That's still frozen in there. You're like, you can't ever eat this thing, even if you defrost it. And every so often you just have to go through it and just like bin like 90% of the freezer. Yeah, they never like throwing stuff away, old people, do they?
No.
Weird. Morty says that the episode tomorrow is actually the best behind the one time that I hosted with Fitch, the Megsy and Fitch show.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's hurt my throat. And then Sharon says Sa doesn't do change. Yeah, so he'll never do these things that he says he'll do.
I said I might. I didn't say I was going to.
Yeah,
There's a big
Ma
difference.
always means no.
Pretty much. It's like when, in like the 130 plus episodes we've done, I've said, "Oh, I'll go and watch that." Oh yeah,
And
that
you've
film does sound good.
never-
I'll go and check that.
Have you ever watched anything or listened to anything that you said you would do from this show?
I listened to some of the cover versions that people put forward for the cover version.
That was
stuff.
actually good. That one. Yeah.
That was I enjoyed that. Some were absolutely shite, but some were quite good. I in my head I remember trying a TV show, and after about a quarter of an hour, just sort of going, "Nah, this is bollocks." But I can't remember what it was.
I have not tried on anything. I don't trust the opinions of these reprobates.
No, just no. I'm not doing nothing you say.
Yeah, exactly. I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah, there we go, mate. There we go. Okie doke then. Magsy, have we got any chicken news this week, or shall we dive into our non-wrestling topic?
Well, there's actually no chicken news. It's been a very uneventful week compared to, all the news happened last week with all the chickens laying, but we're not going to go into the non-wrestling topic yet because we just need to cover a little bit of this.
Pitbull, dick alert!
Oh, a teeny weeny.
So
interesting. Okay.
Yes, and I've not even run this by you. This was something I've meant to cover for the last couple of weeks, but I just as that Mags v Sa shows, I forget things. But around about a month ago, we had one of the biggest wrestling events in the history of the world, right here in jolly old England, London, Wembley Stadium. Record-breaking event, AEW All In, the highest paid attended show ever, the highest paid attended show for Wembley, the highest paid attended show for London. It will go down in the record books as just a massive event. 81,035 paid attendees to that show. Just absolutely record breaking. Except it isn't, and it's all a load of billy bollocks. So the whole point of that number and the fact that they pointed out that it was paid attendance was to kind of stick it to the WWE, who are known for fudging numbers. The WWE often add people like staff, the people who work in the arena, complimentary tickets, sellers, car park attendants. They add everybody into those numbers. It's well known that WWE fudge the figures, and AEW were making a point to say that they did not fudge these numbers. These are the actual figures. You just need to cough.
Magsy's splattering his guts. It wouldn't be a Monday night if it wasn't for Magsy coughing, would it? Let's be honest.
So, the issue with the numbers is that with London being a high priority city, it can often be targets for things like terrorism. The people going to and from landmarks in London is it's highly recorded, and the Met Police actually issued the figures of how many people went into Wembley on that day, and the number is almost 10,000 different. It's actually 72,265 attendees to that show. Still a massive amount, and really good for wrestling in general. but not the record-breaking numbers that AEW would have you believe. So they didn't break the record for the highest paid attended show, which is still WrestleMania 32 with 80,709. They didn't break the record for the highest attended show in London, which is still SummerSlam 1992 with 78,927, which also means they didn't break the record for Wembley Stadium, which is still, again, is SummerSlam 1992 with 78,927. So today's Pimple Dick is AEW trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes and call out WWE for using the fudging numbers trick by fudging their own numbers.
Didn't they actually sold the tickets though, didn't they? That was what they were trying to say after
They tried to claim that they sold all the tickets,
yes,
but
like the
10,000 people didn't turn up,
which
you find it very, very hard to believe. But that's not all. There's actually a bonus Pimple Dick in this, and it's good old friend of the show, Wet Wipe Willie Ospreay.
Okay.
Now, Wet Wipe Willie Ospreay was a big part of All In. He was very proud that in his home country, he was one of the stars of the show and put on an absolutely amazing performance.
Yes.
And said Will Ospreay got himself a tattoo to commemorate the event.
Okay.
And this is the said tattoo. So it's got the date in Roman numerals going around. It's got the coordinates of Wembley Stadium, and it's also got the attendance of 81,035 fans. So Wet Wipe Will Ospreay has gone and got himself a fucking tattoo of a fudged number of an event. So
that's
here's
terrible.
our bonus Pimple Dick of the week.
I mean, on the plus side for Ospreay, that looks easy to cover up.
Yeah, but can you change it to 72? Let me get it back up. 72,265. Let's have another look at this. I mean, could you turn the 3 into a 6? Perhaps.
Maybe.
The O into a 2, that's going to be a struggle.
You just got to put a block across it and rewrite the letters in the block, aren't you?
Yeah, get a white tattoo. Get it in white ink inside. But yeah,
what
a peck of
me.
What an absolute peck of Will Ospreay is.
I'd not seen that. That's brand new to me. And secondly, it doesn't look anything like a sausage roll. I don't know why I thought that at the start. Oh, brilliant stuff, Magsy. Brilliant stuff. It's just so silly, isn't it, wrestling?
Yeah.
So silly. It's like, just tell us how many people are. I mean, not that I really give a shit, but just tell us how many people are paid to get in and how many people are there. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, I mean, what is gained from fudging the numbers anyway? I don't get it.
No idea.
Just makes no sense. It makes no sense. But
didn't
it is what it is.
WrestleMania in Philadelphia next year? The WWE are already saying that's going to break all attendance records. So obviously they've rattled their cage a little bit, I assume.
Well, they're going to struggle because the record is still the Collision in Korea.
Yeah, it's like 100,000.
That's like 165,000 actual attendance on the. I think that was on the second day, and then the first day was 150. So yeah, they're going to struggle unless they do what Korea did and force people into the stadium.
Yeah, you will go
against their will. Yeah.
Dear me. Okay, Magsy, shall we then get on to our non-wrestling topic this week?
Now we shall. Yes.
NWT time. Oh, no wrestling talk here. It's the non-wrestling topic.
Lovely.
Nice.
Lovely.
Nice.
Ooh, lovely.
Lovely.
Big dirty belch. Right. Last week, we looked at great inventions, the best inventions ever in the CWF's mind. I don't think anything topped my toasty maker suggestion, but there we go. This week, we're doing the opposite. We're looking at crap inventions, things that don't work, what's a waste of money, what did you look at and think, what's the point, and so on. And we got some interesting responses, Magsy, didn't we?
We did, and some rants about things as well.
Indeed. I will run through them in the order they arrived into us, as always. And we begin.
And I will juggle the Twitter to try and keep up with Sar.
There we go, mate. There we go. I don't read very quickly, so I'm incapable of reading quickly, to be fair. Matt Butler at Trey Butler on Twitter. He says, pineapple on a pizza. Whoever invented that deserves to be shot. I like pineapple on pizza.
I dislike pineapple on pizza. I mentioned this one to Mrs. Mags, and she said that Matt is an idiot because she also likes pineapple on pizza. But yeah, I don't have the hatred for it as a lot of the Twitter community does. I don't wish people to burn in hellfire because of it, but it's just not something I would ever get.
See, I like pineapple on pizza if I've got spicy stuff on the pizza as well. That works really well.
Okay, that makes sense. But
do you like pineapple though?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
I just don't like it on pizza.
CWF, people in the chat, comment yes or no, pineapple on pizza. Let's know what you think.
We'll have people leaving en masse.
Yeah, it's such an odd thing for the internet to be so heavily divided upon, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Like people genuinely shouting and yelling and arguing about,
King Pig's Banner says 100% he would have pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, I like it. I like it myself, but there we go. Our good buddy Chris Bellis at Real Chris Bellis on Twitter, he says, infusion pumps for giving IV fluids and blood transfusions. I already have no idea what he's talking about. A pain to program and ridiculously sensitive to movement, where an alarm loud enough to wake the dead goes off. I know what an IV is. It goes in your vein and whatnot, doesn't it? So
yeah,
that's very specific to his own job. But I can imagine that would be incredibly.
Yeah, because I think he's a nurse.
Yeah.
Chris is a nurse.
Yeah, how shit would that be though? Every time if it's that sensitive, that fucking alarm. I appreciate why the alarm would go off if it's to sort of warn that maybe the IV's fallen
not
over
working.
or it's not working or it's not plugged plugged into the person properly or whatnot. But if it goes off all the time for no real reason, that must be incredibly frustrating because they've got to go running just in case, haven't they?
Yeah. Would you risk treating it like a smoke detector? Just if it keeps going off, take the batteries out.
Yeah, I don't think you can do
that. Can you do
that? I'm not sure that would be a good idea. Graham at MGB Graham on Twitter, he says, not that I'm allowed to run for president, but I tell my students if I was to become president, my first order of business would be to ban mechanical pencils. They always snap at the lightest pressure, and kids always need lead. Just use a normal pencil, for fuck's sake. Okay. I mean, you've got a little graphic there, the clicky pencils,
Again, I think it's a very hyper-specific one for Graham. I'm not a huge fan of mechanical pencils, mainly because when the lead gets to a certain point, the pencil doesn't hold it in place, and the lead keeps going in no matter how much pressure you put on it. Yeah, just use a normal pencil.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, they're quite handy if you're doing like technical drawings and so on, and working with that sort of thing, because the in theory the lead is always going to give you the same definitive line, isn't it? As opposed to
consistently sharp. Yeah.
Yes. But I completely get where he's coming from. Just use an ordinary pencil. What's the fucking point?
Exactly. It's fixing a problem that was not a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Our Photoshop wizard himself, Pigs Butters at Pigs Butters on Twitter, says the B&M sausage roll maker, and we've got a picture here on Twitter and obviously live on the show here. I don't know anyone who would eat enough sausage rolls to warrant this purchase, and in the unlikely event I didn't just nip to Greg's and wanted to make some, I'd rather use the cooker so you get a nice flaky pastry. It looks like a sandwich toasty maker, doesn't it?
It does. Which which makes you think, what is the pastry made out of? Is that just bread?
No, that looks like a proper sausage roll, mate.
Yeah, so you're meant to get flake. You're meant to get puff pastry or whatever kind of raw pastry. Line this toasty maker, fill it with sausage. It just doesn't make. It's such a hassle to do that it would easily, like I said, it'd be easy to just go to Greg's or even go on Just Eat and order some Greg's to be delivered to your house. Yeah,
Well,
a
the advert actually says golden, crisp, flaky, fast, and then it also says heat and eat. So I'm assuming you must be able to buy the pre-made sausage rolls, because you look at the picture again. This isn't probably going to work very well for the audio. Yeah, but this isn't going to work very well for the audio version. So I apologize to people listening there. Go and check it out on Twitter. You'll see the image we're talking about. They're very specific sized gaps for the sausage rolls. Yeah. I would assume that you can buy probably frozen ones and just put them in and run it for a couple of minutes and it's ready to go.
So it would be a captive market. If you bought this machine, you would have to buy the frozen sausage rolls specifically made for this machine.
Pig's Bladders in the chat is actually saying, nope, you have to make it from scratch. Fuck that.
Yeah, that is not worth it. Not worth it at all.
But we have stumbled upon an idea here that could make us a couple of quid if we can patent something like that and have a bit of food that you freeze and it goes into the hole perfectly and just blast it and it's ready to go, couldn't you?
I mean, you could. What were you thinking?
Well, sausage rolls.
But sausage rolls are not always the same size.
No, but for goodness sake, why do you make everything so difficult? Like you would make the sausage rolls. You said like cornering the market, like it's a very and you know you get these people who are obsessed with Greg's sausage rolls, don't you? I mean, they got merchandise for it now. There's boxer shorts you can buy about Greg's sausage rolls, for fuck's sake.
And
you know,
Croc shoes
about Greg's, yeah. You know,
yeah.
I know somebody in the chat, Mr. Mort, who has a Greg's hoodie, for example. So that's it is.
Yeah, but he got his for being like the patron of Greg's. He goes there that much that they just give him a free hoodie.
But this is the thing. I think it was a present off Fitch actually. But this is the thing. If you've got a
correct
machine,
the joke, then won't you, jackass?
Sorry, mate. I'll move on. Shall I? Fucking hell. This one, I completely agreed with when I read it. 100% on board with Dan Griffin here at Dan Griffin 21 on Twitter. And then my wife pointed something out that was so simple and straightforward that made me realize, actually, she's probably kind of right. Dan has included an image here of what looks like a Shore deodorant, but instead it's avocado in a stick. And like I said, it's the kind of, that's very powdery Shore deodorant, roll-on deodorant kind of effort. Mm-hmm. And just green avocado coming out and you wipe it onto your toast. Now, I looked at that and I thought, that is bollocks. What a load of nonsense. Then Sharon just quite simply said, well, if you like avocado and you have it every morning, that would make things so much easier.
It would. I mean, I eat avocado quite regularly, and this technically feels like it would be a good idea, but also in reality, it probably wouldn't, because avocado oxidizes really quickly. So if you get an avocado and then mash it up and you leave that for about half an hour, it starts to go like black and like squelchy. So having it in a stick that's being used like day after day, yeah, unless it had some sort of preservatives in it, it wouldn't really work that well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking, that it would have some sort of preservatives in it and you keep it in your fridge, like your ketchup and your jams and whatnot. I don't need to list stuff that's in the fridge, do I? You know what a fridge is.
Who puts ketchup in the fridge?
We do. Well, what's wrong with that?
Why would you put ketchup in the fridge?
Well, it says on the bottle, doesn't it? Refrigerate.
Does it?
I think so.
I mean, why? It's not like it needs. It's made with vinegar and salt and sugar. That'll keep it fresh for the rest of time.
Oh, I don't know about that, mate. See, we got all our sauces in the fridge.
No, that's wrong.
You've got a drawer and like up the barbecue sauce, the brown sauce, the salad cream. It's all in the fridge.
No, that's grim.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I just
wouldn't
that's
do
the way
it.
that's the way I've always done it. I think my parents did the same. To be fair, my nan and granddad.
So it's learned behaviour.
I can remember their ketchup being in the cupboard. My nan and granddad. And I suppose when you go to a calf, like a greasy spoon, they've got those squeezy bottles that they refill. They just leave on the side.
Yeah.
But I always think that's a bit gammy. That's a bit icky, isn't it?
I mean, using them are gammy because other people have touched them. But yeah, we have never put ketchup in the fridge. It just doesn't make sense. First of all, you're going to make it too thick so it doesn't come out of the bottle. And then you're going to have ketchup usually with something hot. So what's the point in having it really cold?
Hang on. What do you mean? It would end up too thick to get out the. How cold is your fridge? It's not freezing shit. It's just chilling.
No, I'm not saying it's freezing, but colder stuff, it just doesn't flow as easily as things that are room temperature, does it?
Oh no, but like you shake it up and you're good to go, ain't you? Plus, we have like, do you have like a glass bottle then?
Sometimes we'll get the glass one or we'll get the squeezy one.
Oh, get you, Mr. Posh. We have glass bottles up here. So we always have the squeezy jobs, you know?
Yeah, and, I mean, we have the squeezy ones as well sometimes.
When you're slumming it.
Yeah, when they have no glass ones.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So if it's in the fridge, you just give it a shake and you're squeezing it out. It's not going to get stuck in the bottle.
But then you're also putting really cold tomato sauce on hot food. I don't get the point.
Is sauce not supposed to cool your food down for you, though?
No, it's just slippage juice, isn't it? It's meant to make it easier to digest.
Oh, okay. No, I'm starting to trip myself out a bit here. I think I grew up thinking that sauce was there to also help cool your food down when you were little.
What? Who are you? Who is this person?
No, really, I think that does ring a bell. That was something that when I was a kid. I'm going to ask my parents.
Listen, this is just more evidence that you people in Gloucester are wrong-uns.
See, Sharon there in the chat, first of all, has said she sent me a photo. And
she's also put, you don't put it directly on the food. So what? So you're having a bacon or a sausage sandwich, you don't put the tomato sauce directly on the food. You have it
that's different, isn't it?
You have it hovering in between the meat and the bread. Bollocks. You're putting freezing cold sauce onto hot sausages.
It's different for a fucking sandwich thing, isn't it? We've got
so you're saying you have a bottle in the cupboard for sandwiches?
No,
in the fridge. Oh, so
no,
it's not
no.
It's not different.
I don't have
it's
a
just
bottle
the
in
rules
the
are changing as to how you are eating the sauce.
Right. First of all, I put sauce directly on the food. That's what I do. Okay. Whether it's chips, whatever, bacon sandwich, whatever, that's what I do. But yes, it does come out of the fridge. The kids, they've got these little green plastic
dipping bowls.
Yeah. And they got little rubber bits on the end and they attach onto the side of their plate. Because Liv, for example, my middle daughter, Livy, she's got a few funny things with food and textures and whatnot, but she loves her sauces and that. So she'll fill up these little dipping bowls with her sauce, clip it on the side of her plate so she don't got to worry about carrying it or anything like that. And it's not touching her food. Yeah, it's not touching her food before she wants it to. So that's how they deal with that. You know, just picture Sharon has sent me. I don't know if anyone can make this out. It says here, once is the back of a ketchup bottle. Once opened, keep refrigerated and consume within 6 weeks. Shake well before use. If I bring that up here, there, look, see?
Yeah, but them storage instructions have probably been since they invented the sauce.
What? 1850 something. Can you do something about the screen so I'm not like
I enlarged it so people could see how even Hans can get something wrong.
I don't Heinz, fuck off. We can't afford Heinz. That's like Aldi's own, that is, or some shit. I ain't even joking. Payday Friday, Mag, so I'm gonna treat myself to a glass bottle of ketchup.
Sharon, he's treating you this weekend.
She's not going to know what's hit her, mate. We come to Steve-O at Total Steve-O on Twitter. And Steve-O says, not directly an invention, but whoever invented reactions to messages. No need. So I suppose you mean like the little emoji jobs that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I use those.
Who in this room, this very room, uses those all of the time, sir?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that's only something I've started doing in like the last couple of months.
Like literally every message that we have, he will add a reaction and then reply to the message, but he would still add the reaction.
Yeah, totally. Sometimes I don't reply.
So that's a bad take, Steve-O.
I like
really. You haven't hit the electric there.
I'm on board with Steve-O's next one though, 100%. Any form of messaging group, i.e., WhatsApp. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So how do you, for instance, message me?
No, he's talking about a group.
Oh yeah, where you have multiple people in. That's fair. I mean, I don't particularly mind them, but I do mute a lot of them.
See, I think there's a limit to it, isn't there? You know, there's for example, we've got one for the network that barely gets touched, to be fair. But we've also got one where the lads from the volley are talking about, and it's literally just football based in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. I can get on board with that. But a while back on Twitter, there was like the same people in about 27 different groups.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
Still happens now. You just left them all.
I did leave them all. Yeah. We had a group. My family had a WhatsApp group. You know, my mum, dad, my brother set it up. My mum, dad, my brother, my sister, all the partners and all that. I fucked off out of there pretty quick as well, mate.
That's straight away. I hate you all, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'm not about that. I'm not about that. And we work as well. The one job I had before COVID that made me a bit stressed out and poorly. Fucking WhatsApp groups at work, mate. What's that about? I don't want to speak to you fuckers when I'm stood next to you and I'm being paid to do it. Why do you want to message me when I'm at home? You know?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Steve-O continues. Oh, he doesn't. It's the same point. They're made with, as Ned Flanders says, good intentions, but just get abused. I cannot stand them. Yeah, he's spot on. He's spot on.
Yeah. If you use them for the intended purposes, like Sarah says, the group chats for a specific point, then that's fine. But if it's just group chats for the sake of group chats, then no, I'm not about that life.
Yeah, exactly. So if I need to say something about the network, I don't know what I said. The last thing I put in the group chat for the network was like a couple of months ago, and I think it was when the volley was starting. I want to talk about schedules for live shows and whatnot. That's the purpose of that group, and that's where well. You know, if people start just saying, hi, how's your day or whatever, then I don't know what's going to happen because I can't leave that one. But
well, you can. It's quite easy.
I suppose, yeah. Steve-O also says, smart motorways. I don't know what that is, Magsy.
So these are motorways that the signs above the motorway and the road markings react to things like accidents without having to like put cones down and have police having to slow down. So yeah, things like that.
Okay. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say they're a good idea in theory, but in practice they don't work that well.
Yeah, Steve-O says actually they cause more problems than solved.
Yeah,
and I can kind of see your point of view. Sometimes you need, I suppose, when you're doing anything that's based upon a computer program or something mechanical reacting to a situation, it's very black and white, isn't it? You always need a human being's sense of, well, you would hope, logic that might maneuver or dictate to the circumstances you find yourself in, I suppose.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay.
You need that human element.
Yes, there you go. Steve also says the ULEZ needs to be abolished.
Now, I don't know if I fully agree with him. I think the way the ULEZ, for people who don't know, is the ultra low emission zone. It's basically areas of London that, and it's spreading to other cities, that the air quality is so poor that it's affecting the health of many people, including a lot of children. So the Conservative government brought out this plan to have these areas of London where car emissions have to be really low, like almost zero, or the car driver has to pay a daily fee to basically get people to avoid those areas if they have a gas churning car. Now, in theory, it's a great idea, but in practice, it wasn't rolled out well enough. I don't think people weren't given enough incentive to replace their petrol driven cars with things like electric cars. There weren't a lot of scrappage schemes, or there weren't any kind of like discounts on electric cars. So it's hit quite a few people very hard, because I think they charge like £12.50 a day. So if you actually live if you live in those areas and you drive a car that doesn't pass the emissions threshold, you're being charged £12.50 a day as soon as you drive your car off your driveway. From what I've read, the amount of cars actually affected by this is actually quite minimal. I think it's reports were a petrol car would have to be at least 12 years old, and a diesel car would have to be about 9 years old to be affected. But the way it's been rolled out, I agree with Steve. It wasn't done right. It feels like a money-making scheme and a bit of a tax on the driver, which is usual for the government. But the one thing that's really pissed me off about it is that this was a Conservative policy, and in a recent by-election, I think it was in Uxbridge, the Conservatives actually they battled against it, because the mayor in London is a Labour mayor, so he's having to enforce this Conservative policy, but the Conservatives are pointing the blame at him and his Labour Party, going, he's doing this to you. So they're basically trying to get votes from a policy that they've done, but everybody hates. It's really bad politics. But yeah, it's a bad invention.
Bollocks, anyway, in it politics.
Yeah.
Does my idea. I said to Sharon the other.
Go on.
I said to Sharon the other night, I reckon I'd make a banging prime minister. You know,
you couldn't do any worse than Rishi. This current Conservative government. I mean, I don't really want to get too political, but they are fleecing the British people in plain sight. Everything they are doing is feathering the nests of them and their cronies. I mean, for example, there's a policy that's just been announced of removing the inheritance tax. So basically, if you inherit a lot of money or a house from someone passing away, normally you would get taxed after a certain amount. But they're removing that, and they're trying to make out that this is for the people, so you won't get taxed if something horrible happens. But it only actually affects the top 4% of people. And in terms of Rishi Sunak, he would actually save £300 million directly through this inheritance tax. So yeah, they're feathering their own nest and ripping off the British public. Don't vote Conservative.
They're just fucking crooks, man.
Yeah.
Vote Psy. There we go. I can't be doing with all that wearing a tie shit every day, though.
Well, that's a deal breaker for me. I think you in a tie would be amazing. Like a string of sausages.
Like me in a tie. I got a tie there, actually. Should I put it on? Oh, yeah.
It's a black tie on a black t-shirt. It's going to make absolutely no difference.
And I can't get it on because I'm getting tangled up with my microphone. There we are, though. I'll do that. See?
Brilliant.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Magsy, I think that's all I got from Twitter, unless I've missed anybody out.
I don't think so. I think Steve Oz was the last to come through, wasn't it?
It was indeed. It was indeed. But yeah, there we go. So thank you, everybody who messaged in. Some interesting talking points there. Some political, some catch-up. But have you got any in your mind, Magsy? Because I'll be honest, I'm struggling.
Yeah, I mentioned at the top of the show I have one. I mean, most inventions, or most crap inventions, they do serve a purpose. maybe a very, very small market, but
Right.
somebody's going to get some use out of them. But there's one invention that fucking pissed me off, and it's never worked since it was brought out, and that's paper straws.
Yeah.
When you go to McDonald's or KFC or anything like that, and you get a drink, and you have to drink it through a fucking paper straw. Your drink tastes like paper. If you don't drink that drink very quickly, the paper straw dissolves, so you get paper floating in your drink. You even have the cheek to wet the paper with the drink or your saliva, and the paper just absolutely gives up the ghost. It's horrific. All for the sake of a plastic straw that's yay big. You're not going to save that much of the environment with a plastic straw over the stupid paper straw. I fucking hate paper straws. I fucking can't stand them. They're ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh dear. Yeah.
So
they are
paper
shit.
straws.
They are shit. But then I suppose you can get around that if you purchase some brilliant beakers or tumblers from RBF Luxuries, because you'll get fantastic different straws with like those goods that you can take into McDonald's and use there.
Yeah, absolutely. They are amazing straws. Except
They are.
the one on one of my cups, one of the grandkids has chewed the end, so it's flat.
Oh, that sounds like an after sales issue, not a product problem.
But other than that, it held up really well.
Yeah, there we go, mate. There we go. I suppose one thing that has been invented, and you mentioned McDonald's there, that sticks in my mind as being shit because it's always broken, is the damn ice cream machine.
Now,
that never works.
So I've seen comments about this on social media, and from people who work at McDonald's, it's because it's such a pain in the ass to clean the ice cream machine and prep it that they don't bother, and they just say that it's broken.
Bastards.
Yeah, they are.
I don't even get ice cream from McDonald's, so I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does piss me off.
Yeah, I'm just going back to the paper straws one. Just imagine having a milkshake. Though. One of the best things from McDonald's is the milkshakes.
Yeah.
And sucking those, I mean, they are thick. They're like essentially half melted ice cream.
Yeah.
And being able to suck them through a fucking paper straw is impossible. Absolutely impossible.
It is.
Yeah, paper straws are shit.
There we
go.
The
shitter than Hogan was last week, and he was shit.
If you could eradicate one thing, paper straws or bubbly chocolate. Oh dear.
that is a conundrum.
I'll give you a week to think about it, Magazine. We can dive into it next week.
It'd be bubbly chocolate. It would be bubbly chocolate.
Sharon in the chat is actually. You get rid of bubbly chocolate above after that rant.
Yeah, because what I do now is I would not use the straw and just drink out of the cup like normal, but just be
like
careful.
A savage.
Yeah, but being careful of the grip so you don't crush the paper cup and it goes everywhere. But I would drink it. I've still got access to the drink. Bubbly chocolate, I would rather eat my own shit than eat bubbly chocolate.
So I just don't understand you sometimes. I really just don't get you.
I don't
Sharon in the
be
chat
logical.
No, you're bloody right. Sharon in the chat saying you always get a milkshake though, Si. I do always get a milkshake, to be fair. So paper straws do affect me as well.
So what's your go-to McDonald's milkshake?
I like banana or vanilla.
Oh, banana and chocolate mixed together. Oh.
Anyway, Magsy, should we scan through the chat very quickly then? Because I suppose we better get on to talking a bit of wrestling, aren't we?
We should. So Sharon, King Pig Brother, sorry, saying Hans have confirmed that it should be in the fridge a few weeks back. I don't care. Anyone who puts sauce in a fridge should be on some sort of register and have to stay away from schools, or at least a certain distance from schools.
Yeah, that's like me and my wife, you prick.
No, change your ways.
Oh my god.
King Pig Bladder also says you put the sauce on the top slice when it's warm. Put it on top of the sandwich. So you put the sauce on the top slice of what? Of bread.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. So we butter his bread and then put the sauce on the bread and then just together.
So
like that,
two lots of like liquid before any topping. Come on.
Do you put butter? Okay, bit of a detour, but do you put butter in your like sausage sandwiches or your bacon sandwiches?
Yeah, obviously.
Do you?
Do you
I
not?
don't. No, I don't.
Do you use frozen mayonnaise out of the fridge, don't you? Or frozen tomato sauce
No,
as
I
a
don't.
butter?
No, I don't. I don't
So
because
you eat dry bread.
everyone
then-
else in the house does. Everyone else in the house has butter, and they think I'm weird for not having butter. But when you put in like the bacon, for example, bacon's fucking hot. I have a bit of brown sauce in it as well and whatnot, so it's not just completely dry. But it will melt the butter and the bread goes mushy. And I don't like the bread being mushy. I like the bread to be
Get
bread.
thicker bread.
No, it doesn't even matter if it's fucking medium slice, thick slice, whatever, does it? You know?
Do you know when you moved into your current house, did you have to go knocking round all the doors of the neighbours and saying, look, I've moved into the area. You may want to look me up online. I'm a
Fuck's
wrong.
Right, so because I don't have butter in my sandwiches, you're accusing me of being
And
on some sort of
frozen
register.
and semi-frozen tomato sauce.
To be fair, was it last week? It was I went to make my sandwiches for work, and I got the ham out of the fridge. And because my fridge is a bit knackered, we need a new one, I think. And
It was
also,
frozen solid. Don't
it
say it was frozen
I
solid.
turned the fridge up as well because it was like that hot week. Johnny's was like a week or two ago. The ham, one half of it was absolutely fine. The back end was frozen.
Brilliant.
And I was like, oh
Brilliant.
man, I can't make my sandwiches now.
So what you did was you cut the front end off and left the back end in the fridge for everyone else to deal with.
No, I just put the frozen ham in my sandwich and moved it to the front of the fridge so it defrosts.
So that'd get surely your bread would get wet from defrosted ham.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. Happy yourself?
I am actually. That's made me smile.
Yeah. I don't have butter. I'll have sauce, and that to me is enough. And I like the bread to be.
You're wrong.
I like the bread to be breaded. I like it to turn to mush.
You were wrong. Sharon says Sa reacts all the time. It's annoying.
To messages.
Literally
Yeah.
every message, Sharon. Every message, he'll put a little either heart or the thumbs up. The thumbs up, I think, is your favourite one.
Yeah, that's the first one on the list. Look.
So that's at least amount of clicks to be able to react.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm at work and I'm not supposed to be on my phone as well, so it's just easier to look and go, "Pop, there we are."
Yeah, just that I acknowledge I have received this message.
Yeah,
and
there
I
we
will
go.
reply to it at a later time.
There we are. Yeah. See?
King Pigs Banner says it all depends on the purpose of the group. Yep, absolutely. The groups that are just nothingness, yeah, can't be asked with that. Can't be asked whatsoever. He also says that the paper straws are not recyclable. Yeah, so what is the point?
Yeah,
Just
if
give us back
that's-
our fucking plastic straws then, you
I don't
fucking
get-
clowns.
Do you know what? You get more fired up about the paper straws than when you were talking about the Conservative Party ripping everyone off. This is a much more pushing issue for you on a personal
Yes.
level. I can see.
If you want me to vote, say you'll bring back plastic straws, and it doesn't matter if you are Nazis. Doesn't matter.
Oh my god!
It's as
No.
long as you promise me plastic straws, and you have my vote.
Just to make it clear to anybody listening for the first time,
Not Nazis though. Clearly.
Not
That
Nazis.
I was
Look,
was
no.
going a little bit overboard there.
Fucking hell. Okay.
Connor says ketchup, mustard, and barbecue sauce belongs in the fridge. Yeah, but you live in a country where it's ridiculously hot the majority of the time. So no. King Pigs Batter does not agree with you. He thinks that sandwiches do need butter.
Yeah, sandwiches need butter, but if I'm having a sausage sandwich or if I'm having a bacon sandwich, I don't put butter in there. And normal, like I've made sandwiches for work tomorrow. Butter is in those.
And Connor says, again, this is the Americanism coming out of him. You only butter bread that is not going to be cooked without anything on it except brown sugar. So
Sugar on bread.
You only butter bread that is not going to be cooked. So you're not going to be cooking the bread, though, surely. If you're making a sausage sandwich, you don't cook the bread. The bread's already cooked.
No, to be fair, Sharon toasts her bread when she has a bacon sandwich, but she still puts butter on it.
I mean, you toasted bread, you would definitely need butter.
Yeah. I have. Well,
It'd be like
actually,
eating
hang on.
dust.
Hang on,
meaty
right, hang on.
dust.
Hang on. With regards to toast, right? I don't always put butter on that either. It depends what's going on my toast.
No,
So
no. The only thing that I would put on toast without butter would be peanut butter.
Well, yeah, okay. So peanut butter, I won't use butter. If I'm having the Heinz sandwich spread, the sort of tangy, pickly spread.
Okay, yeah, I've not had one of them in time, but yeah, they were built for going on to dry toast.
Well, there you go. Marmite, I don't use butter.
Grim, don't you animal for even putting that on.
I wouldn't put butter unless I'm having literally butter on toast. I don't think I put butter
jam.
on toast.
You won't put butter on.
I don't really eat jam, but I don't think I would. No, I don't think I would. No, because then you taste the butter, don't you? Surely you want to taste the thing you're putting on the bread, on the toast. Sorry.
Right.
The downside is
but butter is just like I said, the slippage juice.
Yeah, that's the downside is that when I do that, say for example,
you're eating dust that you're like chewing it forever because there's no liquid in there.
But that's why you have a nice cup of tea, and that sorts that out, doesn't it?
A gallon of tea.
Yeah,
to keep your tongue wet.
The issue is obviously with no butter, it is a touch on the dry side, shall we say? So what ends up happening is I end up using so much Marmite or so much peanut butter to compensate that I go through it dead fast. But that's okay because if I fancy peanut butter on toast, that's what I want.
Butter tastes nice.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't. I if I'm having literally just butter on toast and it melts and stuff, that's lush.
Marge tastes like shit. Well, I've never tasted Marge. She wouldn't let me within 4 feet of her.
For goodness sake.
Butter over Marge, absolutely. Connor says he can't get in on the toast debate because he doesn't eat toast. Connor, you may need therapy, sir. With your horrific food takes, you may need some therapy.
Do you not have
don't
toasted
eat
sandwiches?
Toast. That's wrong. Surely, that's
Do you
wrong.
not have toasted sandwiches? Like a proper cheese toasty?
Yeah, I do. I mean, not as regularly as you do.
Yeah,
it's not like one of my 5 a day like you.
I've not had one for a while, mate. Like I said, payday Friday, can't afford any cheese at the moment. Because I go through a lot of cheese if I'm making a toasty. It is a lot.
Do you buy like small blocks but numerous, or do you buy like a massive block?
It depends where I go. If
do you buy grated?
No, I don't buy grated. I draw the line at that.
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of grated, especially because it's powdered in it. They put like a semolina powder on it.
I always think to myself as well, that's how they get you in it. That you're probably getting less cheese in you.
Well, you're being charged more for the same amount of cheese.
Yeah, there you are.
You're paying for someone else to grate it, essentially.
Yeah, fuck that shit. No, if I'm going to say a supermarket, I'll buy a big block of cheese. Our Libs especially
like
does red
catering size one.
Comes
out like a 2-4, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh,
yeah. Our Libs loves red Leicester, for example, so I'll try and get some of that for her and stuff like that. But if it's just a shop down here, then you just get a couple of little blocks, don't you? But
I bet you fume at the price of it.
Oh, I do now. The little £1 blocks of cheese they used to do. £1.75 now, Max.
Ridiculous.
I want to give their fucking head a wobble.
Yeah, Sunak's Britain, sir. King's Pig Banner says paper straws has touched Mags inappropriately. They've done. I mean, if they did, they'd just fold under the heat and the liquid. So
the liquid, sweat. I'm assuming.
Well, depends where they touch me. If they went like up the chocolate river, I suppose.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, we should. Sharon says, "Isn't a grilled cheese a thing in America?" Yeah, basically that's cheese on toast, isn't it?
Okay.
And Connor says yes, but he doesn't eat it unless there's a bowl of tomato soup to dip it in. That's an old school, like school dinners meal, isn't it?
I'm offended.
What, dipping a cheese toast into tomato soup?
Dipping a toasted sandwich. I mean, toasted sandwiches are like my favorite thing.
You use frozen tomato sauce on sandwiches with no butter, and you have drawn the line at dipping a cheese toast in tomato soup.
I don't really, but
you call me illogical for my bubbly chocolate take, but that is the most ridiculous take of all.
Well, it's not, because for a start, I don't like tomato soup at all.
But yeah, but you like tomato sauce, frozen tomato sauce.
I don't even really like tomato sauce, mate, to be fair. That was
So
just the
you,
example.
so you stood on your soapbox defending tomato sauce, and he's like, I didn't even like it in the first place.
No, I like
You're wronged for having your tomato sauce in the cupboard, but I don't even eat ours anyway. So
no, we have lots of different sauces. Like, I mean, I like brown sauce on my stuff. Charlie's got this kind of garlic and herb sauce thing that she absolutely adores. Liv likes a bit of ketchup. We've got lots of different sauces. I just don't particularly enjoy. I just don't enjoy.
Courses.
There you go. Look, I just don't enjoy ketchup very much, unless I'm pissed. Recently, when I've been pissed up, right?
Just eating it out of the bottle with a spoon.
No, over the weekend, for example,
Like
I made myself
tangy ice cream.
I've chucked some little, of the kids, like, chicken nuggets that were in the freezer in the
I'm
air
pissed
fryer.
And I'm hungry. I'll steal the kids' food. Kids, you're not eating this week. Why? Because I want some nuggets and sauce.
But then I had a bit of ketchup with it, and the ketchup was banging then. But I bet if I did that when I was sober, I'd be a bit like, ugh.
You're a wrong'un. You're an absolute wrong'un.
We have
Anyway,
Cam Griffin
in the
joining
chat.
us.
Cam comes straight away with a great take. Cheese toast and tomato soup combo is immense. Yeah, absolutely is. You get a cheese toast, you break a bit off, so all the cheese is like stringed, and then dip that in the soup.
Nah, mate.
Yeah. Anyway,
No.
you're wrong.
No. Shall we talk some wrestling, Mags?
I think we need to, just to clear the air between me and you, because we're going to have a falling out. We already don't know enough about each other. We've now realised we've got horrific food takes. We need to get back on the same wavelength. So let's talk some wrestling.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So then, Magsy won the poll. Sharon saying she's going to do that this weekend. You bloody ain't. You ain't using my toasty maker to do that. I won't have it. Not in my house, woman. I'm so scared now because she's going to beat me.
She's going to make you have cheese on top, cheese toast and soup, and then you're going to come back on Monday and go, I bloody love that. It's amazing.
I don't like tomato soup, but would it be weird if I did it with like chicken or something?
Yeah, chicken and cheese.
Yeah, but you have chicken and cheese, don't you?
I suppose. Try it.
Okay. Well, I might do.
Report back.
I will. I'll do that this weekend. There you are.
You will not do. You won't do it. He's a liar, people. Ignore it.
Anyway, we are going to talk a bit of wrestling. Magsy won the poll with some WCW, which is an odd little turn of phrase, isn't it? We are heading to...
Felt dirty and also very regrettable. Instantly
it was
regrettable.
It was. I can't even remember what I put up against it.
Sharon is already saying she's claiming ownership of your toasting machine. Now we've started domestic people. We're watching the Powells. In fact, listen to tomorrow's episode of Morning Fish, because that might be the last time you hear the Powells happy with each other. Together. I didn't want to go that far, but together.
I'll just be living in a bedsit in the centre of town. Just a tiny little portable television and a second-hand toaster maker out to buy because Sharon kept the other one in the divorce.
Wow.
Anyway, love you, Shah. Great American Bash 1998. Magsy, your selection was from. It's a tag team contest featuring Roddy Piper tagging with Randy Savage, and he is taking on Hulk Hogan and Bret the Hitman Hart. Odd combos on both sides of the ring there, I feel. But the Great American Bash, when it first aired on the 14th of June 1998, it comes to us from the Baltimore Arena in Maryland. And that place held 8 Great American Bashes over the years, Magsy.
Yeah, the Tony Schiavone said at the top of the show that essentially Baltimore is the home of the Great American Bash. WCW did tend to do that, though, didn't they? Certain events were held at very particular arenas quite regularly.
Yeah, I mean, Halloween Havoc, for example, was also always in, was it Vegas? I think it was Vegas, wasn't it? on one of the casinos there. And Eric Bischoff has said that he used to do it intentionally to sort of give it an identity, and people would almost have the returning customers every year and so on, wouldn't you? So
Yeah, and then he had the Hog Wild, Road Wild at Sturgis, things like that.
Yeah, there we go. Just shy of 13,000 people there. Not sure if that was paid or not, because I don't know how they were fudging the numbers back then.
Well, Hulk Hogan has got a tattoo of 13,000.
Yeah, exactly. Before we get to the actual match itself, something that is incredibly frustrating from my standpoint, if you're taking something out of context with regards to WCW in any era, really, is that you notice a real difference in how the WWF back then, or WWE now, will promote their shows and give you recaps as to what's going on. So I don't watch the weekly television, as many people are well aware. But if I watch a pay-per-view, for example, there's a pay-per-view coming up in a couple of weeks, Maxie, I think, isn't there, from the WWE? If I sit and watch that,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah,
I get your point. Michael Cole has become an expert at recapping the story.
Yeah, and you get the video packages that are amazing, that high level of production and so on. WCW just don't do that, and it's not just this particular show that we don't get much background to the story that's going in. It's that scenario in general. I mean, Scottish Danny and I on Nitro Nights have noticed we've gone from 95 now to sort of we're at the trail end of 96. It just never happens.
No,
I mean, sometimes we don't even know what matches are on the fucking pay-per-view.
I would say that maybe Eric Bischoff didn't know half of the time what was happening,
yeah.
but you are right. That's even in the dark era of like the mid 90s WWE, WWF, when every wrestler had a job and it was terrible watching. They still had the packages where you could keep up with the storylines, and when it came to the pay-per-views and the in your houses, you got those little 30 seconds, a minute long videos that keeps you up to date with what's gone on to get to this point in the story. Yeah, with WCW, and especially with someone who didn't watch WCW originally, it can be very hard to keep track of why we are at this point, and why these wrestlers are in this feud. Yeah, it's can be frustrating.
Yes, indeed. I don't really know why this is happening. Is the point I'm getting at? They're talking about Hogan and Brett tagging together. They both come out to the NWO music, and they're saying that it's two guys who, the first time they ever tagged together and so on. We've got Piper and Savage tagging together, and Savage is part of the NWO Wolfpack at this point, so he's a babyface, and Piper is a babyface as well. But they don't like each other because Piper is WCW and Savage is NWO Wolfpack. But their hatred of Hart and Hogan means they're combining to face them. But then they're going to have a match between the two of them directly after this tag match. I've got no idea what's going on. Yeah,
it was quite convoluted, and like I said, there's no video package or to explain what's going on. But essentially, Brett helped Hogan beat Savage for the belt, and then Hogan returned the favor by helping Brett beat Savage after that. I think Piper had been the referee for the match, and he reversed the decision when Hogan interfered. And Savage didn't trust Piper, so that's where their conflict comes in. But their hatred of Brett and Hogan, that trumped their mistrust of each other. So it was essentially the build-up to this match.
Okay. What little clips we do get, and this is something again that we noticed heavily on Nitro Nights since he's arrived. Roddy Piper, if there were in WCW specifically, if there was ever an advert for scripted promos, this is it, isn't it? They give this guy a mic and he just goes.
Yeah, he likes to shoot.
Yeah, and it just rambles, and you almost feel like somebody needs to be able to just discuss it. Enough now. Stop.
Yeah.
There
was nobody that did that in WCW.
No. And when he's in the ring with Savage or he's in the ring with Hogan, you get that battle with them as well, because they all want to have the last say. So they just keep replying.
And they all have very rambling promo styles as well.
Yeah. Not a good look, mate. Not a good look.
No, it's not.
We get the impression that this is a big, important contest because Michael Buffer's there and he's going to introduce everybody to the ring.
And he introduces all of them as the master of something.
Yes.
Which is fucking... I suppose at the time it would have been cool to have Michael Buffer there because he was the voice of boxing. But going back and watching these like decades later, he is phoning it in something chronic. Absolutely phoning it in. It's ridiculous. They spent what I think it was 30,000 per appearance on this, and he adds nothing at all to it. It's ridiculous.
And we mentioned it on Nitro Nights before. The most insane thing about the money that was spent on Michael Buffer was that WCW never quite got their audio correct. Here, you can hear him. But there's plenty of other occasions where he's earning his $10,000 to $30,000, depending on which report you believe. And in WWE, it's always right. You can hear the commentary team, you can hear the crowd reaction, you can hear the music, and it all works. And the announcer sort of goes over the top of that. In WCW, they never quite get it right. Sometimes you can't hear their music, sometimes you can't hear the crowd, sometimes you can't hear the ring announcer. And then there are other occasions where you can hear the incredibly well-paid ring announcer, and the commentators just talk over the fucking top of him.
Yeah,
it's so backwards.
Yeah, it is. The WCW's production was not good at times, not good at all.
No. Piper as well. To me, he looks a bit out of place here, Magsy. When you see all four guys stood in the ring ready to go, and they are posturing for quite a while, aren't they? They're running the clock down for a while. Hogan, this is NWO Hogan. He's heavily tanned and he's got the black on and he looks the way he does for that gimmick. Brett looks like Brett. Brett's cool as fuck, let's be honest. Savage is wearing the red and black from the wolf pack, and he's heavily tanned as well. And then there's Piper, and he looks like he's just pale, and he's not that much older than the other guys, but he looks much older, in my opinion.
Yeah. He also looks like a throwback to mid-80s, early 90s wrestling.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I know all the rest of the wrestlers were from a similar era, but they've kind of like moved their ring gear on and their kind of characters with the times, whereas Piper is the same character that he's always ever been, with the same ring gear. So yeah, he does stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, 100%. Piper and Hogan start, and we get lots of eye pokes
after a lot of posturing.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, I'm going to lay my position down very early. This is late 90s wrestling. On the other side, we're deep into the Attitude Era. We've got on this card, we've got some really good wrestling. I mean, there's a Booker T and Benoit match, which is outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And then this, which is billed as one of the main events, it's like watching wrestling from 1989 again.
Yeah.
There's nothing changed. And I get Hogan, Piper, and Savage are a lot older and they're very limited. But Brett's in this match, and you would think he would have kind of upped the quality. But I think he just phones it in as well. It's just a typical mid-80s, late 80s wrestling match with all the same kind of theatrics, but in an era that had moved on from that kind of wrestling. And it just looks so dated. It looks old-fashioned.
It really does. And it shows how WCW kept sort of, I suppose, beating a dead horse, didn't they? To the point where they didn't move on themselves. You mentioned there, Magsy, about the era it was and the Attitude Era and so on. Obviously, we said this was June of 98, didn't we? So as you were talking, I did a quick Google search there to find out what WWF show was closest to this in June of 1998. And it's actually the King of the Ring tournament from 1998. So you put into comparison what we're seeing here on WCW television And on the other channel, on the other pay-per-view, which happened literally 2 weeks later, you've got the King of the Ring tournament itself with The Rock finding his feet as the Rock character. You've got Ken Shamrock as well. He makes it to the final, who was very talented. X-Pac and Owen Hart had a singles match, which was very good. You do get the Midnight Express on the card, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll ignore that because it's the new Midnight Express. So fuck them.
Oh, it's Bodacious Bob.
Yeah, exactly.
Bombastic Bart.
Exactly. But the main events are obviously The Undertaker and Mankind in the Hell in the Cell, and Kane and Steve Austin in like the height of his popularity, really, in a First Blood match. Now you compare that and how hard those guys were working and what they were doing to try and entertain people and get their money, and then you look at these four. It's not. It's just such a. It's so different, isn't it? It's two completely different ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it absolutely is. It instantly felt to me like watching a 1988 match in 1998. Just hadn't moved on. I mean, we start, for instance, after all the theatrics of who's going to start in the ring, and then the confusion between Savage and Piper both being in the ring and then out of the ring just to show that they aren't working together. And then the first real wrestling moves are eye gougers, and it's Piper doing the poking the eyes, which was one of his gimmicks. But then Hogan sells it by being blind and going over to Savage, who then does the eye poking, and we get those kind of really old school ways of selling, where you get hit, it makes you go to the tag partner, who then hits you again, and it's just the falling over. It was all delayed, and it was just so old fashioned.
Yeah. The tide turns, I guess, and Hogan and Brett take control of the match when the Disciple, who we know as Brutus Beefcake on the outside of the ring, uses the world title to hit Piper in the back
with the softest shot as well.
It looked like shit. Let's be straight. It looked like shit.
Yeah.
That brings Brett in, and I've got a note here that literally just says this is crap. So that sort of gives you a summary of where I am.
And like I said, Brett is easily the most talented wrestler in this match.
Yep.
Not saying that Savage wasn't a talented wrestler, but in this era, Savage is a shadow of his former self.
Yeah.
But I think from the looks of it, Brett realizes who he's in the ring with, and realizes I don't have to put any effort in. These guys aren't going to. So he course. And whilst he's wrestling, when he's in the ring, his wrestling is competent. It's good wrestling. There's just no effort put in, and you can understand why from Brett's point of view. Is with three wrestlers who should have retired by now. But it just smacked of no effort put in whatsoever.
We get Hogan and Piper again for a little while, and Piper gets choked by Hogan and his eyes raked again. Brett
he also does the back rake
yes.
in a little nod to the match made in hell.
Yeah, there we go. Brett tags back in, and we get a couple of, I suppose, the greatest hits from Bret Hart. We get the Russian leg sweep and the middle rope elbow that he throws in quite a unique way, doesn't he? That sort of diving onto his knees kind of style. And then Bret bends down to give Piper a back body drop, and Roddy Piper counters this into a small package in the slowest way I've ever seen in my life. It just took me completely. What little sort of suspension of disbelief I had was gone with that moment, Mags.
Yeah. And then not long after that is probably the most interesting part of the wrestling for me. I mean, the story I thought was being told pretty well for what it is. It's a very basic story. Bad guys hate the good guys, but the good guys are also not on the same page. It's been done multiple times. But the most interesting part of the actual in-ring work comes when Savage has a chair, and his chair, I think he's chasing off Hogan. but he eventually puts the chair into the ring just as Brett is pulling off a move onto Savage. I think is he doing a DDT or something like that?
No, he's Piper is on his back. Brett has his legs, almost like he's going to go for the sharpshooter. But Brett does that. Brett does that move sometimes where he drops to his knees and headbutts his opponent in the stomach.
In the stomach, yeah.
And just as he's about to drop down, Savage puts the chair on Piper's belly, so Brett drops headfirst onto the chair.
I thought that was very interesting.
That was good. That I
was
enjoyed.
A good spot, but it was one shining light in a very mediocre match.
I mean, again, I suppose it shows what we're looking at here. In that, I've got the same. That's a highlight, but that's all we've got. My other big highlight would be getting to hear the 2 NWO themes. If that's the highlight, then there's something wrong, isn't there?
It is. But that's essentially leading into the end of the match now, I suppose. We get the Savage hot tag. Then Savage's knee gives up when he goes for the top rope elbow. To be fair, he sold that pretty well. He come off that top rope really, really heavily, which eventually leads to Hogan whipping Piper into the ropes. That knocks Savage off the ring. And then Savage is trapped in the sharpshooter whilst Hogan and Piper are distracted, and Savage ends up essentially giving up the ghost and losing the match.
Yes, we get a bit of afters, which isn't going to affect our scores, obviously, because we're reviewing the one match, but it does lead into the pre-arranged contest between Roddy Piper and Savage as well. Piper wins that after about a minute with a figure 4 leg lock.
Piper looked like he didn't want to fight. He felt, and it was Savage that basically instigated the second match starting. But yeah, we get about a minute of wrestling. Savage hits poor Charles Robinson, and in the best selling of all the event, Charles Robinson folds like a pancake. He sells that punch with gusto, but this leads to Savage being low blowed, then locked in a figure 4, and for 2 matches in a row on the same pay-per-view, Savage is submitted, which absolutely shits on him. I believe. I think it's he goes away after this, I think, to basically recoup. But yeah, what a way to bury Macho Man Randy Savage, to lose twice to submission. Yeah, ridiculous.
Within the space of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Twice within 5 minutes.
Ridiculous.
Oh, dear me. Out of 10, Magsy?
So, like I said, the storytelling wasn't horrific. A lot of WCW storylines can be very convoluted, but this was pretty basic. But the wrestling was just... I don't even think it was bad wrestling for 1988. It was just terrible wrestling for 1998. Wrestling had moved on, but WCW, Hogan, and Savage just hadn't moved on. I don't think it's the very worst thing we've ever watched, but it's pretty low. I'm going to say 1.5.
Okay. I agree with pretty much everything you've said. I've got 2 out of 10. I love WCW. There's so much great that happens in so many different areas of WCW. And when I say WCW, I'm counting the whole shebang, like back to the Crockett days through the NWA and all that, and then the WCW time before Hogan arrived, and then the NWO stuff. So many great moments, but there's also so much shit. And this is one of the moments that is just shit, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's terrible.
Ah, there we go. Really glad you won that poll, Maxie, you prick. So where do you want to go next week, bud? Where are you linking? And how?
Yeah. So we've had quite a few crap matches recently. It's bringing the average scores down, so I think we might need to rectify it. So I instantly went two different ways. Firstly, I was going to stick with this very pay-per-view and go a little bit earlier into the card with Chris Benoit versus Booker T. They had their conclusion to their best of 7, and the match is an absolute banger.
Sorry, on that note as well, Magsy, how talented are those two guys to have 7 matches in a space of a short period of time? And if you go back and watch the whole program, each one is different and each one is exciting.
Booker T it's almost like a hidden gift of his to do a series of matches and be able to sell them. I mean, look at the one that he did in was it against Cena when they had the series of the US title? Amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah. But I thought, shall we go with that match? And then I thought, there's better out there, surely. And then I remembered a match that I put on the poll a while ago, and it was picked by one of yours. I think it was picked by Owen versus Brett from WrestleMania 10. I was going for Piper versus Bret Hart from WrestleMania 8. Another great match, great promos. And then I thought, no, fuck it. We'll keep throwing the shit at this wall and seeing if any more sticks. So I've gone for WrestleMania 12. The link is Roddy Piper, and it's the Hollywood Backlot Brawl versus Gold.
That is insane because there's so many similarities to what you've picked or how you have got to your selection, your link that I have used to get to mine. And my match features Dustin Rhodes as well.
It's going to be the match that got him fired from WCW, isn't it?
No, it's not. That was on the back of a truck, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it Blacktop Bully or something like that?
That's it. Yeah. No, my link I'm using is how you explained that you went back and thought Great American Bash, look at that particular card and all that sort of stuff. That's what I did. My link is the Great American Bash. I looked at a list online of this particular person writing their favorite top 10 matches in the history of the Great American Bash. And it goes from a Benoit match from 2000 right the way down to something from a Flair match from against Dusty Rhodes and all this sort of stuff, right? But something stood out to me, and I was like, I'm not sure if I must have seen this. I must have, but I looked up elsewhere after I selected this match, and it's got great reviews all over the place. And I thought, well, okay, let's throw it out there and see if people want to give something a bit different a try. I'd like to go back to the Great American Bash 1992. Now, 92 WCW was not a good time for them business-wise, but in-ring, they had some real talent there. Flair was gone. Rick Rude was going up the card and so on, having some absolutely incredible matches with the likes of Sting and Dustin Rhodes. And Ricky Steamboat was back in 92, 93, early 94. Some great in-ring content there. But again, it looks shoddy and old because of the production, and WCW didn't have much money and all that sort of stuff. This match is for the NWA World Tag Team titles, but actually main evented the Great American Bash in 1992. A tag match, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, tag match main evented this show, but it was a tag match with single competitors.
Yeah. It's Sting versus the Giant one. Yeah,
coming out with smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Fucking ridiculous.
I would like to go to the main event of the Great American Bash 1992. One of the ones not from Baltimore, I think, which is ironic, but there we go. And we have the tag team of Terry Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams. Very, very popular in Japan. Did fantastic stuff over there. And
not they so good in shoot fighting.
No. And they are taking on the team of Dustin Rhodes and show favorite Barry Windham. So that is where I would like to go. I don't know off the top of my head who won this. I don't know if I've ever seen it. I'm fairly certain I have. I must have, but I'm not sure if I have or not. So I think that would be quite intriguing if that's the way people want to go. So there we are.
Brilliant. Did you, speaking of Barry Windham, did you see the Twitter thumbnail that I made?
The Twitter thumbnail? No, I didn't.
Okay. So, and this will please King's Pigs Bladders. Usually, what I would do is get an image of the pay-per-view or a match on the pay-per-view.
I did.
And I'd put our logos just to show that it's our show. But I thought I'd go a little bit extra this week, and I replaced the head of Bret Hart with a picture of Barry Horowitz.
Yeah.
And then I replaced the head of Savage with a picture of the Stalker, Barry Windham.
Fuck's sake. The best thing about it is, though, it's in the sharpshooter, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Bret's looking forwards, but Barry Horowitz's head is facing backwards. Fantastic Photoshop. It's brilliant stuff. But those are your choices for next week's Chain Wrestling Live. We can head to WrestleMania 12 and see Roddy Piper versus Goldust in a Hollywood backlot brawl. And I can't remember. I've seen that, but it's been a long time ago. I bet there's some funny things to discuss in that.
The match is half pre-taped, half live. So it'll be a case of watching the little bits that are interspersed with the main card, and then the follow-up of the match.
Or we head to the Great American Bash 1992 and see Terry Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams take on Barry Windham and a very young Dustin Rhodes for the NWA Tag Team Championships.
And a very crap Barry Windham.
Oh, just wind your neck in, mate. You can vote, as always, on Twitter at @chain_wrestling there. Magsy, shall we scan through the chat before we depart?
Well, I'm actually just looking at this card for the Great American Bash 1992. And they had Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham beating Steve Austin and Rick Rude in the quarterfinals.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Anyway, into the chat. So Cam arrived late and says that the cheese toast and tomato soup combo is immense. I absolutely agree. Sharon, hold your cheese toasting maker hostage. Cam had to dive out. Apologies, but Paul Younger, so need to dash. What's the ultimate toaster? So we didn't answer this. The Cena Ref did though. Cheese, beans, hot dog, sausages, and bacon. Oh, hot dog sausages though. I don't think I've ever had that in a toaster.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Sharon says cheese, onion, ham, and pineapple.
Yeah, that's banging.
Cam is, I don't know if that's a shock of amazement or shock of like basically horrified. There are some unique combos. King's Pigs Batter says he had to get a deep fill toasters machine for his. And then Cam goes with a second question. What goes on the outside of your toaster? I'm a frying pan toasty man and mayo on the outside. Delightful.
Huh, I've never heard of that before.
Sharon says butter in the sandwich toaster.
Yep.
A little tip for you. If you like your toasters to be super crispy, when you put your bread into the toaster, put a little sprinkle of white sugar onto your toaster. Now it sounds wrong, but that sugar will caramelize whilst it's cooking and become the crispiest toaster you'll ever have.
I think you told me this before.
It's
maybe when one of the times when we played Title or Toasty, and you mentioned it to me then.
So you don't put loads on because the sugar will overpower it and it'll become too sweet. But just a little smattering, like a salt bay a little bit. Yeah,
my strong hand.
Yeah. Cam says also on Wrestling Chat, he's partway through Starcade 96 and Piper's just cut a mad promo where he thought it was hyperventilated. That's every Piper promo he hyperventilates. He like I said, he rants so much, he goes on mad rambles. And then Cam's put, oh, for fuck's sake, Brutus Beefcake returns. I haven't seen the Beefy Man in forever. The Disciple is one of the worst. I mean, it's up there with Zodiac, in it.
To be fair, though, look-wise, it's probably the best he's looked in a long time.
Because he doesn't look like Ed Leslie.
No, he doesn't. You could pass him off as being somebody else, to be fair.
Yeah, if you didn't know that was formerly the Booty Man, formerly the Barber, you could easily think that that's somebody else.
Yeah, 100%.
And then he opens his fucking mouth. King Pigplanet says if these guys were all wrestling today, they'd still wrestle the same style. Yeah, they absolutely would. Cam says great choice in 1992, sir. And King Pigplanet is happy that Ahmed Barry Horowitz tap out the abomination that is Barry Windham, the worst Barry to ever wrestle. So go on, what would be in your ultimate toaster?
I nearly asked this as a question in Mags v Sai because I've said it loads of times. But
I don't believe that any of these things you've said before.
Well, go back and listen to our back catalogue, Mags.
I'm not going to do that.
I like cheese, ham, and those specific red jalapenos that I get from Marshall.
Yes, I do. Do you know? I do remember. They come in jars, don't they?
Little jars, yeah, because they're very, very sweet as well as having this kick to them. Yeah, that is the business.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
What about you?
I think I would change from week to week. I don't think I'd have a specific very best favorite. I like to experiment. Right now, I've been having quite a lot of hot chorizo. So,
okay,
you know, chorizo sausage, but these have got like spicy. So, I bet a good quality cheese, some hot chorizo. Yeah, that'd be banging.
I'm getting hungry now. You need to stop.
Well, you've no toaster machine because Sharon's confiscated it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Sharon. Sharon in the chat there.
I bet you say that every Monday. Sorry, I was just showing off in front of my friend.
I was playing Billy Big Balls with my mates. Sharon also says there, not even sure if we have any sugar in the house. Yeah, probably not, to be fair. I don't think we have.
Wow.
Sharon has sweet
Friday.
Coffee.
Friday. You can
Friday,
get a
payday.
sugar.
Oh my word. Sharon, you're going to be so treated on Friday. We're going to get a glass bottle of ketchup and some fucking sugar.
It may even get the shopping delivered.
Oh, I normally do, mate, to be fair.
It's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
I hate going shopping now.
Yeah, I hate going anywhere. Ever. But there we go. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat who has joined in with non-wrestling topic online, voted in the polls, all the usual great stuff. This show does not exist without you, as we say all the time, because it's true. Magsy, whereabouts can people find you online, or whereabouts can people hound you online to be ignored?
Well, I mean, I checked my Twitter today, obviously for the show, and I had 9 unread messages from people. One from like the middle of September, one from early September of someone's checking in to see how I was, and I've not seen the message. So apologies to everyone who's messaged me. I very rarely go on Twitter, but you can find me daily on TikTok, where I upload videos of my lovely chickens for all the world to see, and that's at Pod Farmer Mags.
There we go. And anything I'm involved in, you can find via the network that carries this show. That's at SJP World Media on Facebook and Twitter, and all your podcast players, platforms, and providers, of course. But most importantly, you can find and follow this show online on Facebook and Twitter at @chain_wrestling. And Twitter is where you get involved with all the non-wrestling topic and voting in the polls and all that great stuff. Oh, an absolute blast again, Magsy. It's been bloody brilliant. I'm off now to try and slide into the kitchen and get hold of the sandwich maker before Sharon robs it off me. So, because I might sneak it into work. To be fair, at least then I know it's with me.
I mean, I thought you were going to say so I could plug it in and make a sly cheese toast at work.
I could do. I'll speak to you next week, my friend.
Yep. Penis enlargement services. Contact Sarpal at SJP Words.